Welcome back, Island Hoppers. Today we're coming to you from Bali, where we're going to show you the 22 top things to do while visiting this island paradise, starting out here at Tegenungan Temple. There are many temples in Bali, and Tegenungan in the northern part of the island is certainly one of those places you might want to visit. With a large koi fish pond and many exquisite art pieces representing Balinese culture, you can hire a private guide to show you around, or you can do a personalized tour all by yourself. The admission fee is around 50,000 Indonesian rupiah per person. That comes out to around $3.25 per person. Next up, we'll head over towards Ubud to the Monkey Forest. The admission fee here is also 50,000 Indonesian rupiah per person, which comes out to $3.50, and 40,000 Indonesian rupiah per kid. And the species of monkeys here are known as macaques. They are a bit feisty, so keep that in mind when getting too close. Sometimes they might consider that a threat, or make you a target and steal your hat, water bottle, maybe even wallet or cell phone. So keep that in mind when getting close to these monkeys. And the next thing to do in Bali is visit beach clubs. Most of them are in Canggu, Seminyak, or Uluwatu. Some notable beach clubs to add to the list while visiting are going to be Potato Head Beach Club, Atlas, and Finn's Beach Club, which you see right here in this guide. And cover charges do vary depending on the beach club. You can look up online the exact cover charge. Some may be free and some may charge. Also, guys, one more thing I wanted to point out. We will have timestamps below so that you can bounce around this video. If you just check the description, we will have those timestamps for you to be able to do so, and also links to our other Bali videos. Let's keep going. Now, these day clubs or beach clubs are not just on the beach. They also have some up in Ubud. So if this is something that you're looking to do, be sure to research this before arriving on the island more in detail. And after doing activities in Bali, you're sure to want some amazing Balinese cuisine. The good news is they have a variety of different cuisine, not just local Balinese cuisine or even Indonesian cuisine. They have Asian fusion and even some Western food for those of you who are also looking for that. One cuisine that stood out here was the amazing seafood. Now here we had a feast which included crab, lobster, and white snapper. There is plenty of shellfish and prawns to go around. Also, if you're really looking for that Balinese Indonesian food, consider nasi goreng or mie goreng. Nasi means rice, goreng means fried. Also, they do have street food, including corn and other sauté that you can get right there on the street. For dessert, you can get mango sticky rice, or you could even get fried banana. So lots of interesting cuisine to look forward to here in Bali, along with herbal tea. Next up, we're going to Tegallalang Rice Terrace. This is a really cool place that you'll see many people taking pictures of swings overlooking the terrace here. This is where they're doing that Instagram stuff. Also, you can walk around the terraces all the way down into the gorge where there is a stream. You can see local rice farmers and even take pictures with them. But this area here is very scenic. If you've never been around rice paddies, this will be a good experience for you to familiarize yourself with just how all that rice ends up on your plate at the restaurants. Now, across Bali, there is plenty of rice terraces and rice paddies just like this, although not all of them are going through an amazing gorge, which really makes it extra special. Also, there are restaurants that you can eat at on both sides of the gorge. Admission fee is 15,000 Indonesian rupiah per person and 5,000 rupiah per car. Next up, we're going to head to one of my favorite temples in all of Bali, Tanah Lot. Now, this rock formation is a temple sitting just off the island of Bali. It's famous because this is where a Hindu pilgrimage would take place, right here at Pura, Tanah Lot. And in order to get to the actual temple, you need to cross a shallow waterway, which is actually from the sea. So keep that in mind when considering clothing attire. I would recommend bringing flip-flops or sandals on this day. The entrance fee is around 60,000 Indonesian rupiah, which comes out to around $4.25. Also consider the timing. I personally recommend sunset. But any time is a good time to visit Tanah Lot. Next up, we're going to do some shopping in Bali. Whether you're looking for clothes, sarongs, paintings, knickknacks and souvenirs, hats, wind chimes, and other kinds of local art. Also, when you're out here, you will notice there is many tattoo parlors. So for those of you who are considering getting a tattoo, Bali might just be the place you will do it. On top of the fact that Bali is not an expensive place to do shopping, as long as you're skipping out on the malls where they have the high-end boutiques, if you go to these local vendors, you're helping the locals who also are connected to the manufacturers in the villages. So that's a good thing. And just to give you an idea of the price range for a shirt or something like a hat or some sunglasses, you can get those shirts for around $5 per shirt as the going price. Even cheaper in some cases. Alright, now we'll bounce back from some shopping and we'll go to a waterfall, one of several on this list, and this one is called Tegenungan Waterfall. And as you can see, there is a day club with a pool overlooking the waterfall. Now, that is separate from the actual waterfall, and there is an entrance fee of 15,000 Indonesian rupiah, which comes out to about $1 per person. And if you have a car, expect to pay 5,000 Indonesian rupiah, which is around 50 cents. We were here in December, which is considered rainy season, so the waterfall had a significant amount of water coming down. But as you can see here, they do allow swimming, and they have kind of dammed it up to allow a little bit of a lagoon to be created. But when the water is rushing, please do be cautious, especially of flash floods. Now let's head back to the beach and the ocean for one of the most popular things in Bali, surfing. If you have ever wanted to learn surfing, this is going to be one of the top 5 destinations on earth to actually learn as a beginner. Now, if you are a big wave surfer, they also have some of the most impressive big waves down south by Uluwatu. Surf lessons can be as cheap as $10 per session per person. If you wanted more lessons, for example 3 days, you will leave Bali knowing how to surf. And next up, we're going to head to Empul Temple. Now this is a water temple where many people go for what is considered a water blessing. It is a natural spring. Now there is a dress code, and you will want to comply with that dress code. It is a simple Balinese traditional kamen wrap or sarong around the lower part of the body. They do have lockers and sarongs for rent here on location. Now, you can also come here and not do any of the water bathing, but it is 50,000 Indonesian rupiah per person, which is around $3.50. Another thing to do on Bali is simply relax and have a beach day. There are many different beaches on both sides of the island, whether you want to relax at a beach in Kuta or Uluwatu, or go over to the other side of the island where Sanur is, or head north up the west part by Kuta or Seminyak or Canggu. So many different beaches that you can just simply hang out, relax, have some food, and just take care of your mind, body, and soul. Also, this tends to be a free activity to just relax, although you may have to pay for an umbrella or seating if you want that. And typically you can get an umbrella with chairs for around $3.50 per hour or 50,000 Indonesian rupiah, but the prices vary depending on where you're at. For me, I would recommend the beaches in Seminyak or in Canggu, or as far south as Uluwatu. Not a big fan of the beaches around Kuta because they have a lot of driftwood. Next up, we're going to explore Garuda Wisnu Kencana Cultural Park, and this is actually an interesting place because it's one of the tallest statues in the world. This statue here is actually much larger than the Statue of Liberty. The statue itself is actually one of the tallest in the world. It stands at over 121 meters tall, and it can actually accommodate around 70,000 people in the actual park itself. Now, it was inaugurated and built and completed in September 2018, and there is a master plan for the actual cultural park, which includes waterfalls in this futuristic but yet culturally unique place. As you saw, there are many other statues here, but the big one is this right here. There are times you can actually go inside the statue, but when we were here it was closed, but you can see it is the 4th largest in the world. Next up, we're going to head over to another beautiful waterfall. This was actually my favorite that I found. Banyumala Twin Waterfalls. This place was literally like Fern Gully right here in the middle of the jungle in northern Bali. There are several waterfalls in this part of Bali in the north. There's Empul, there's also the Git waterfall, there's Timbuwana. So do some research on waterfalls and find the one that works for you. But I would say this one here was special just because of how it feels like you're in this amazing garden that's completely created by nature. Now there is about a 10 to 15 minute hike that is required. You cannot drive down here, so you will need to do some walking. There are some people who are locals that will provide moped rides if you want to go that route. Going up the hill is always more difficult than going down, so I just wanted to point that out. Next up, another thing to consider doing in Bali is just hanging out at a resort. Now this might cost you a bit more depending on the resort you pick, but the resorts I found can start at around $35 per night for a bungalow right on the beach, and then go as high as hundreds of dollars per night. If you go with a chain hotel like Hyatt or Marriott or the Westin, it's going to be more expensive than if you go for a local resort bungalow, and you can find those around, pools right there on the beach for good prices. But hanging out there is going to include a bar at the pool and nice service, a restaurant, all the stuff you could possibly want to just simply kick back and chill. And next up, we're going to head to a beach that I consider to be very special. It used to be largely unknown, but it is one-of-a-kind beach. It is known for its white sand and big swells that come from Antarctica. It does face Antarctica, by the way. Now, this beach here is also gaining popularity where they've started to build restaurants and a boardwalk area, but if you're looking for a white sand beach that sits along the cliffs of the southern part of Uluwatu, then you're going to want to come down here and spend a couple hours just chilling out. You can lounge on a lounge chair with an umbrella or take a kayak out to the ocean. In the south part of Bali, this is probably where the best beaches are, and even if you include Nusa Dua or going out to Nusa Penida, all on the south part of the island. Next up, we're going to actually head north again to Ulun Dandu Beratan Temple. This is one of the most commonly photographed temples that you will find in Bali's photographs around the world. Even if you do a quick Google search, this is where people are taking those pictures, and it sits at the base right there along the Beratan Lake. The nearby volcano is known as Beratan or Katur or Chatur. And essentially at Ulun Danu, what you're going to find is a botanical garden right here on the lake Beratan. And in the backdrop, you will see the volcano kind of hiding behind the clouds. Up here, you're around 1,200 meters high or almost 4,000 feet in elevation. So you're pretty high up here. Now there is an admission cost, and it is around 50,000 Indonesian rupiah per person, again around $3 to $4. The drive up here from Kuta takes about 2.5 to 3 hours, and there's no real quick way to get here, so plan for other activities in the northern part of Bali. If you come up here, my suggestion is leave early. Next up, we're going to take you to a bit of a hidden gem. It's called Padang Beach. And this area right here is slightly less tourist than most of the other beaches around Kuta, and it is small, but I did like coming here, and the walk down through this cave system is quite interesting. It's a really popular place with surfers though, so keep that in mind. Also, there is limited parking up on top of the hill, but I would recommend at least coming here during sunset. And as you can see, the water has that translucent blue color to it. It's a bit of a oasis down here, I would say, and the walk down is easy. The walk going up, not so easy. So if you have problems with your knees or back, you might want to reconsider coming down here. It did appear to be dog friendly, so that's a good thing for those of you who plan to bring your dogs here. Now, we are going to head back north again to a very popular Instagram spot. So if you want your Instagram picture, a lot of people consider Handara Gate to be one of the best places. Although I will say, it is really only good for taking a picture because you can't go beyond the gate. The reason we put it on this list is because it is a popular place with people to take pictures. And I know some of you actually want to get that bucket list spot on the radar for your Instagram. Next up, we're going to head over to the largest volcano on Bali, which is near Mount Agung. Now, we were here when Mount Agung was covered in rain and clouds, but this place is called Pura, Penataran, Agung, Lempuyang. And you do have to take a extra taxi to get up here, so you have to get into a shuttle and drive up the mountain, and then once you get there you have to walk up again towards the temple. It is an impressive temple. I would like to come back here when it's not raining. When we were here, there was just an unrelentless amount of rain just dropping from the sky. Next up, we're going to head to a very popular place with honeymooners, but also people who are looking for the luxury experience on Bali, called Nusa Dua. This is actually where they had the G20 summit at the Westin here. Nusa Dua actually faces towards another very popular place in the Bali region called Nusa Penida, but you can see right here, this is one of the best places for beaches. In case you're wondering what Nusa means in Indonesian or Bali language, it's basically island. So anytime you see it called Nusa Penida or Nusa Dua, they're just basically saying Island Dua or Island Penida. Out here they have other islands that you can walk around, so that is a good thing. They have the blowhole and they have a garden area. You can walk around here and enjoy yourself. They're gonna have other beach and day clubs, as well as some secluded beaches where it's just you and the water. And as we continue to show you around Bali, I would like to remind you to check the description below and the other videos that we have posted on this channel about Bali and Southeast Asia. So the next thing to do when you're in Bali is find a great place to watch a sunset, whether you're in Canggu or Seminyak or Uluwatu. Remember, the sun sets in the west, so that's the side of the island that you're going to get that beautiful sunset, and these sunsets are amazing. Even if you're in Ubud or up in the high country, you will see these cotton candy skies with the sherbet colored orange and pink and purple, just really lighting up the sky out here in Bali. Next up is going to be a fire show. Now on Bali, there are multiple different shows that you can watch. In this case, this is a fire show that takes place in the evening time. They also have shows that take place in the morning or afternoon hours. If you come here, you will see a traditional dance and display of culture. There are other fire dances in Uluwatu, Tanah Lot, Batu Bulan, Ubud, Taman Badaya, Garuda, Wisnu, Kencana also has a fire dance. Typically, the price is going to be around 100,000 Indonesian rupiah. So if this is the kind of thing you're into, which is shows, then definitely take a look at one of these fire dances across the island. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Island Hopper TV from Bali, Indonesia. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to this channel for more videos as we continue to show you around Southeast Asia and the rest of the world. And click on one of these other videos right here from Singapore or Bali.